That was perfect timing. I'm Patrick Ralston. I'm the director of the Arkansas Arts Council, a division of the Department of Arkansas Heritage. And just joining us is Stacy Hurst, our director of our parent department, Department of Arts Heritage, who I'm guessing had to swim out of Little Rock like I did. And so, Stacy?
Nothing like making an entrance, huh? Yes, I was delayed getting out of Little Rock by about 15 minutes, but it took me, gosh, I left at 4:15, so quite a lengthy drive. It was bumper to bumper on I-30, but I am so pleased to be here. And let me just say that I am privileged to serve as the director of the Department of Arkansas Heritage, because I tell people all the time that I have the absolute best job in state government, because everything we do is about the richness and authenticity of the state of Arkansas. And out of all of the wonderful things that we do to protect the natural and cultural and historic resources in Arkansas, this Living Treasures program is absolutely one of my very favorite. So I applaud the Arkansas Arts Council for recognizing an individual every year in this very meaningful way. And I am just so pleased to be here to honor Mr. Xu. And I'm assuming that you will do the full introduction and recognition. But I'm just so pleased to be here and say that this is one of our very highest awards. I'm excited to be here in Hot Springs, and I'm so glad to see all of you all. Thank you again for being here, and congratulations, LongHua Xu.
Thank you, Stacy. I like my job, and I like the people I work with, and I like the fact that Stacy lets me do it. So, and do things like this. It's an honor to be here, and I certainly want to recognize, Hot Springs. When there's a party like the Governor's Arts Awards a couple of months ago, Hot Springs shows up, and they're kind of a rowdy crowd, and I see a lot of the usual suspects here. I do, of course, want to say thank you to Mayor Pat McCabe. If you would just raise your hand. Where are you, Mayor? There he is. Thank you for hosting us. Also, Representative Les Warren. He is the coach. There he is. I saw that green shirt. Representative Warren, his engagement in the arts here, in the arts and culture in Hot Springs, I think speaks for itself. Certainly, I know him too as being the co-chair of the new Legislative Arts Caucus in the Arkansas General Assembly. We're very excited about having a voice in the General Assembly, and represented by Representative Warren and Senator Joyce Elliott. I want to thank Mary Zunick with Visit Hot Springs for helping put this whole event on. I mean, she has been an incredible help. She's always a great partner here. We have, of course, Dorothy Morris is always, whenever I work in Hot Springs, just about everything I do has Dorothy Morris's fingerprints on it. Of course, I want to also recognize our many Arkansas Arts Council advisory members here, Marianne and Philip Taldo, Jen and Stanley Brown there you go, and Nancy Magruder, former chair, there she is, and Dr. Dwayne and Camille Daniels. Dr. Dwayne Daniels is one of our newest members from El Dorado, and we're proud to have him. The first week that I started the Arkansas Arts Council, I sat in on that just coincided with the panel review that year of the Arkansas Living Treasure Award. And the conversation was fascinating to me. And so this is one that I sit in on every year. And I know that Dr. Daniels was also on that panel, and he can attest to the fact that it is a very nuanced, a very highly esoteric conversation about the value and the added value that the artists considered bring to their craft, the education that they provide, that they're not just they don't just have amazing body of work, but they're also doing amazing work as educators, teaching others about a craft. Very often craft that are losing adherence. So the Arkansas Living Treasure Award is definitely one of our highest honors that we bestow, and it is my honor to be here with you and to honor LongHua Xu and his work, and his work on behalf of Hot Springs, his work in wood, his work adding to the portfolio of art in Arkansas. And he is, I mean, you know, I've been to Hot Springs many times, enough to know that if you come to an art meeting in Hot Springs, you're going to run into LongHua, and he is going, because he is a tireless advocate for Hot Springs. And I want to thank Hot Springs for coming out and standing with him the way he stands with you. And, you know, what, 35, how long is it now, LongHua? Is it 34? 30 years here. And I just want to say that he works hard for you all. I mean, we and those of us from around the state, we know that LongHua is part of the face of Hot Springs. And so we definitely are happy to be here and celebrate with you, celebrate his achievement. In the Living Treasure Award process, it starts with a nomination. We have a call for nominations in the fall, and in this year, one of the nominators wrote in for him. It was Gary Simmons. Gary, where are you? And Gary, I'd like to, I'd like to have you come up here and say a few words about LongHua, if you would.
I brought my crib sheets. When you're my age, you don't take anything for granted. I want to thank the Arts Council for giving me the opportunity to do this. More than that, I want to thank LongHua for his friendship. His art speaks for itself, but more importantly, it's about who the man is behind the art, and that's what I want to address. The opening paragraph I wrote for the endorsement for LongHua as follows. I've known LongHua for more than 30 years, and still I'm discovering who he is. Sculptor, painter, architect, potter, teacher, businessman, husband, father, and grandfather. To all of these, he brings an insatiable curiosity, a drive for perfection, and above all, an affection for his fellow man. Since I don't feel up to the task, I asked Mark Twain to help me do this job. So I'm going to talk about just 4 different characteristics of LongHua that I've learned to treasure. Twain says 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bow lines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. That brings up courage, which I think is a really salient characteristic for LongHua. If nothing else, if you face what he did in immigration is exceptionally challenging, and through our friendship, I've come to appreciate what that means. I don't really have any visceral feeling for what he went through, but the idea of having the courage to come where you don't speak the language, where you leave the reputation that you had, so fundamentally you start over. You do whatever you have to do in order to get your family here, to make new friends, to learn the system. It's an unimaginable challenge. And he did that with grace. Then he takes business risk, which is courage beyond most of us artists. We all, as artists, remember when he was going to buy the Alvin Hotel, and we all said, "Oh, don't do that." And now look what he's got. So he's learned to navigate the cultural, financial, social systems. A smart man. And then facing new experiences, he's pretty incredible that way. You got to be careful when you travel with him. He may want to wander into a biker's bar and take some photographs. And that doesn't seem to bother him, so. Okay, curiosity is the next one. Twain says the ability to find solutions to life's challenges is what makes us grow as a person. LongHua is constantly growing. He is always learning. He seeks criticism. One of the things I've learned from him as an artist, a fellow artist, is that when he asks me to look at his work and criticize it, he means it. He actually takes that information and evaluates it and uses it. A lot of us think, well, we ask for criticism, but we really want you to say, that's just great stuff. He's always practicing, always trying something new, always involved in some different project. He's been part of our drawing group for, 20 years, LongHua, something like that. Meets weekly with us. Is always traveling, exploring, going to places in Arkansas that, as somebody that lived here as long as I have, I should know about. And he tells me about this little festival somewhere that he dug out and found and what have you. He's indefatigable in that exploration. And he's a collector, as you've all seen. He's always collecting with his camera, always collecting images, always collecting information. Has an incredible interest in anything from the slightest little gewgaw that he sees to major furniture to plants to whatever. So his range of interest is incredible. Third is kindness. Twain says, do the right thing. It will gratify some people and astonish the rest. He's a peacemaker. LongHua is all about fairness. He's all about trying to do the right thing. He tries to see the best first. I've seen him in situations where he's actually been cheated by somebody. He does not hold a grudge. He's very understanding about that. He's always philosophical. He's always wanted to be fair. Family man, he has a tremendous sense of responsibility. Affection, pride in Jan and Annie and the rest of the family. Of course, we all know Annie is going to be president one of these days, so brace yourself. We've got that all figured from years ago. And among other things, he brings an old world civility to us, which God knows we need at this time. In his language, in his manners, in his attitude, there's always kindness, he's understated, self-effacing, always polite and generally good to be with. Humility. Twain says, humility is not thinking less of yourself, it is thinking of yourself less. LongHua doesn't think of himself less in the sense that he doesn't underrate who he is, but he doesn't beat you over the head with who he is. He's very understated about his own accomplishments, about his own history. Only we who know him pretty well probably know how extensive his reputation is in Shanghai. His brothers, 3 other brothers who are artists, all have done well. One is an internationally famous artist in the art of sumi. But he listens. He understands that you don't learn anything when you're talking. And when he's with people, he has an incredible ability to listen to them, to inquire of them, to get into where their space is, to find out about them. He's grateful, he's quick to acknowledge the help he's had in his success. You can count on his kind of southern version of appreciate it. And thank you so much. And finally, the last thing, Xunye, his bride. Chinese philosopher LongHua Xu says, to love someone deeply gives you strength. Being loved by someone deeply gives you courage. She had as much courage as him. To wait, he came ahead. She bided her time. She came with Jan. They had Annie. They fought their way through the difficulties of adjusting and learning the language, making friends, doing all of those things that are just incomparable. So he may be her best decision. She has courage, she's intelligent, nurturing, supportive, talented. Thank you.
Without further ado, so we can get back to the visiting. On behalf of the Arkansas Arts Council staff, its advisory council, and the state of Arkansas, and certainly the good people of Hot Springs, I want to present this year's 2019 Arkansas Living Treasure Award to LongHua Xu.
Thanks so much, all you come here for celebration this war. And I trying to say something, but you know, since even I'm living here for 30 years, the language still bothers me because something I cannot say very clear. If you don't mind, I want to ask my daughter to translate some language for me so you know what I really want to say. Annie, if you don't mind to come here. Now I'm trying to speak Chinese, okay? 我講謝謝大家今朝到嗰啲 party 嚟講，我哋都係慶祝。
Thank you all so much for coming to celebrate with me today.
我講我等咗中國是35歲啦，到嗰嚟，所以呢我是實際我等咗30年，我成年嘅日子就喺度度過。
After immigrating to the United States at the age of 35, I feel like I've really spent most of my adult life here in the United States, and so this is where I've really spent the better part of my life.
我講那個30年以上對吧？嗰啲 hospital 就講不僅僅是因為40代，實際是年好。我們講作為你講，你去一個地方，你去安居樂業，你去是講你小女養人，這個城市我哋感覺嚟。
I should really say that the reason I've been able to be so productive here is due to not only the beautiful place of Hot Springs, which, you know, is kind of inherent in its name, but also because of the wonderful people here, all of you here that are celebrating with me. It's because of this wonderful place and all these wonderful people that I've been really able to flourish and produce my best artwork.
我講佢哋一個記者冇講，我最歡喜你嘅啥？ 我講最歡喜就講，如果感動我自家，感動別人，所以就講，因為嗰啲咁好嘅人，好嘅事，我感動我哋，所以我能夠那個作為第一個。
I was just asked by a reporter here earlier tonight, what is the best part of being here? What is the best part of being an artist? And in my opinion, the best part of being an artist is to be able to appreciate your surroundings and to be able to translate that into my work. And so it's because of the amazing people here and the wonderful surroundings and the environment and the nurturing environment that you all have created here that I've been really able to flourish and to do my best.
你講，你經常能夠幫我這講的吧？就說明嗰啲人對我肯定了，我將我的用我自己更好的這個怎麼講呢？我就會那個作品讓那個我報這個所謂，你做出更多雕塑，在裡面，你跟那個比我臉很好。 你讲我对吧？作为你的家庭起来的，像你家庭我讲，我那么我听了我帮你解决你看。
And the only way that I feel I'm able to give back to the community and to repay you all for all of your kindness and taking the bet on me, of putting your faith and your trust in me, is to be able to improve my standards ever higher and just to try and produce even better work for you so that in the future you'll truly be able to see me at my best. And so that I feel is the best way to repay you for all your kindness.
你讲今朝阿拉夜到阿拉家们侪来了，囡儿子还有孙子孙女侪来了。你讲阿拉是那个真正是为自家第一故乡，对吧？谢谢大家。
As you can see here, my daughter, my lovely wife, my son, his wife, and my grandchildren are all here tonight. And so I feel that you can really tell from my family that we really treat Hot Springs as our second home, and really this is my hometown. And so thank you all so much for coming tonight and celebrating with me. Thank you very much.
对我是呀，如果我家呀来，我家来老婆，那晓得你的家因为比较有事实，所以我就想自家体会想这个。假如买了老婆能支持我都会进步。
And last but not least, as you know, artists can sometimes be selfish people. You get kind of very involved in your work and you forget about everything else. And so without my beautiful and lovely wife, who's always been there for me, she's been my backbone, she's been my support, she's done everything to help me keep going. And so without her, I wouldn't be able to produce the work that I do today. So thank you to you all, and especially also to my lovely wife for being here and celebrating with me. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. You know what difficult language between these two languages now? Because I would say the Chinese, I don't believe anybody can understand what I say, you know?
My mistake. I think I'll just grab it. Thanks again for being here, all of you, and for being part of honoring LongHua. And now we'll allow you to get back to the reception and allow you to, if you haven't met LongHua and his family, I encourage you to do so. But this has been a great day for Arkansas and a great day for the portfolio of Arkansas art. Anyway, we're excited to be here. Thank you so much to all of Hot Springs.